So I was asked if I think that the recent election of Hassan Rouhani as president of the Islamic Republic of Iran will bring change to Iran's political system. And if so, what changes might we expect to see in Iran in the coming years? I do think that the election of President-elect Hassan Rouhani will bring some important and positive changes to Iran. However, I don't think that we'll see major changes to the Islamic Republic. We will see a different tone coming out of the president of Iran. The current president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, is known for his fiery and often inflammatory rhetoric. President-elect Rouhani is a moderate. He is a diplomat. He has been Iran's top nuclear negotiator with the EU. He is fluent in 6 different languages. He is highly educated. He holds a JD. He's also a lawyer. He also campaigned on a platform of essentially increasing civil liberties for Iranians, loosening some of the restrictions on personal liberties in Iran, releasing many of Iran or some of Iran's political prisoners. Also, it's quite interesting that President-elect Rouhani has recently, in some news media interviews, suggested that President Assad of Syria stand for election next year in 2014. That is quite interesting because Iran and Syria are strong allies. In fact, Iran is really President Assad's major and main ally in the region and perhaps even in the world. I mean, certainly the Russians and Chinese have been supportive in certain ways, but they have their own economic interests for sure, whereas Iran has sent revolutionary guards and fighters there to fight the Free Syrian Army or the Syrian rebels. While, again, the supreme leader is squarely in charge of Iranian foreign policy, it is quite interesting that he has suggested that and almost sort of implies that he would be okay with perhaps a Syria without al-Assad as president, because I think it's quite clear to most of us if there was a free, fair, and democratic election held in Syria next year that President Assad most likely would not be re-elected. Also, President-elect Rouhani has solid religious credentials in a country which is basically a theocracy, which essentially means ruled by clerics, in this case Muslim clerics. Mr. Rouhani is a Shiite scholar and a mujtahid. In addition, given his diplomatic background and his calm demeanor, I think we'll see different, not only rhetoric, but tone. He's also talked quite a bit about improving the relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Iran and Saudi Arabia have been at odds for the last several years, and we see that playing out in MENA politics, the politics of the Middle East and North Africa region, with one being a great Shiite power and the other being one of the leaders of the Sunni Muslim world. So Mr. Rouhani has made it clear that he would like to see an improvement in relations and perhaps some rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia. So I think that will be a good sign. Some of the additional changes that I think that we might expect to see out of Iran with the election of President-elect Rouhani also include a focus on improving Iran's economy. Its economy has been severely weakened over the last several years with the increased economic sanctions toward Iran. Let's also keep in mind that President-elect Rouhani was elected with approximately 72% voter turnout in these recent presidential elections in Iran. Voter turnout is generally defined as the percent of eligible voters that cast a ballot in an election. And so with approximately 72% voter turnout, that makes it a voter turnout that's higher than voter turnout in most American presidential elections, where in many cases in elections in general in the United States, we might be lucky to get 50% voter turnout. In presidential elections, voter turnout is generally quite high, but still generally not near 72%. So I think that leaves me optimistic and hopeful about the future of Iran. That also sends perhaps a message to the Iranian leadership that the Iranian people are serious about reforms. In Iran, this supreme leader is where true power lies. The supreme leader has the military responsible to him. The judiciary is also responsible to the supreme leader. While I understand a lot of the hope and optimism and that people have, not only in Iran, but all over the world with the recent election of President-elect Rouhani, it's important to keep in mind that this has happened in the past in Iran, that the supreme leader has worked to block the reform efforts of a president of Iran. And the example I'm thinking of is Iran's former president, Mohammad Khatami, who was also a moderate and a centrist, and was very big on sort of civilizational dialogue, in other words, dialogue between the various civilizations, and was very interested in that type of thing. But the supreme leader, Khamenei, blocked many of his reform efforts. The supreme leader of Iran serves a life term. They're unelected in the sense that they're not directly elected by the Iranian people. They are, again, they're elected, if you will, technically appointed by the Assembly of Experts, of whom President-elect Rouhani is a member. Iran's president can also submit legislation to the Iranian parliament, which is the Mejlis, or Iran's unicameral parliament. Mejlis means council, essentially. However, the supreme leader could block that legislation. All of that said, I do think that we will see some important and positive changes in Iran moving forward. But in the end, also keep in mind, Rouhani is himself a mujtahid, as we said. He's a Shiite scholar. He has a long history with this Islamic Republic. He was right there with Khomeini, praying with him in Paris as they were putting together their visions and plans for the Islamic Revolution. And in fact, he wouldn't have even been president if he wasn't vetted by the Council of Guardians, which is this body in Iran that essentially vets Iranian presidential candidates for their religious qualifications. So while he is a moderate and a centrist and a diplomat and a highly educated individual, and he's not a confrontational type of person, he is someone that is committed to the Islamic Republic of Iran. So I don't think we'll see a scrapping of the Islamic Republic, for example, but we will see, I do believe we will see some important and positive changes in Iran moving forward.